Disney World is in a constant state of change. Walt Disney himself said, "Around here we don't look backward for very long. We keep moving forward, opening new doors and doing new things." Walt Disney's words are true even today as we see Walt Disney World keep changing over the years. We've definitely seen a lot of changes to Walt Disney World since its opening on October 1st, 1971. And today I wanted to share with you a few of my thoughts, predictions, and hopes for the next 10, 20, and 30 years at Walt Disney World. Now, when I was thinking about making this video, I was actually thinking about how cool it would be to look back in 20 years and see how my predictions did, if I even got a little bit close to Walt Disney World does. So that'll be fun to come back to. Okay, let's start with 10 years from now. The year will be 2027 and we're all gonna have flying cars, right? We're probably not gonna have flying cars, but I do predict several big changes to Walt Disney World in the next 10 years. In Epcot, I predict 2 countries will be added to World Showcase and Future World will be completely reimagined. Now, I predict that in Future World, not only will you have more opportunities to play with virtual reality and all these cool things, but there'll also be more hands-on things, like maybe designing a future car or plane or something along those lines, something futuristic. Do you remember when Sum of All Thrills was open in Innoventions in Epcot? You could design your own roller coaster. Think on that level, like we're trying to design something new and maybe you can interact with it in some way. That's how I'm thinking the interaction will go. Now, I predict that Hollywood Studios will get another name change. We had MGM and then we had Hollywood Studios and we're gonna have something else in the future. That's how I see it. Maybe something like Disney's Hollywood Experience, something like that. Now, with Star Wars Land, I see Disney expanding even more. Maybe another attraction or maybe a small interactive display, something that they expand upon because it's going to be so popular. Not only do I predict they'll expand upon Star Wars Land after it's finished, but I also predict that Star Wars themed hotel, at least part of it, will come true. Now, I also see that mass transit gondola system running in the Epcot Hollywood Studios area and being very popular. Now, I foresee the gondola system being extremely popular and helping alleviate traffic between Epcot and Hollywood Studios. I think Disney might even expand upon the idea of the gondola system to include other resorts and maybe even Disney Springs. Now, I predict that the Magic Kingdom will get several small revamps and maybe a very small expansion here or there and maybe the Haunted Mansion restaurant. I can foresee that happening. I also predict that Tomorrowland will get a gigantic refresh. Stitch's Great Escape will be gone. The Tomorrowland Speedway, I think would be gone. Maybe the Tron Light Cycle, something like that, but they're gonna do a big revamp. That's my prediction for Tomorrowland. Since we're on the topic of Stitch's Great Escape, I wonder what they're gonna do with that area because I have a feeling they're going to be closing Stitch's Great Escape. It's not that popular, and I wonder what they're going to put in its place. I have a feeling it's going to be completely new. No more of those restraints pushing down on you. They tried that with Alien and with Stitch's Great Escape, and it's still not that popular, so I feel like they're going to try something completely new. At this point, I hope, and I do say the word hope, not predict, that Illuminations Reflections of Earth will still be the main fireworks show at Epcot. If that hope of Illuminations staying in Epcot comes true, then I can foresee Disney adding new technology to it, like maybe some drones flying along with it or new fire displays or something along those lines. But personally, I don't think it needs a revamp. I think it's great, but in the next 10 years, I can definitely foresee that happening. Now, it's hard to imagine, but let's consider what Disney World will look like in 20 years from now. The year will be 2037, and maybe we're gonna have some hologram come out of our phone, I don't know, something like that. Within the next 20 years, I can foresee Disney building a brand new theme park. I personally think the idea of a throwback park would be amazing, but that's just me. I also predict that many of the resorts will get a major update, an overhaul update inside and out. Now, in 20 years from now, I can predict and kind of hope that Disney's self-driving car fleet is standing by at each resort, so you're all ready to go. You just click a button on your phone and the car is ready for you. It takes you where you want to go and you're set. Now, that being said, I still do love the interactions with those cast members. Maybe I'll do a little bit of self-driving cars and a little bit of the bus system. Now, within the next 10 to 20 years, I can see Magic Kingdom getting another new expansion. So Tomorrowland will be updated. My prediction within the next 10 years, I can see within 10 to 20 years, maybe another land or expansion beyond that. Now, in 30 years from now, it will be 2047, and I can just envision like some personal flying drone like assisting you everywhere, holding like your bags or something. It would be awesome. In 30 years, I can predict Epcot's Future World showing us some hologram system. Maybe like the future of communications is holograms, and maybe there's a flying hologram machine to show us what's happening in the future. I can envision all of that. Now, in 30 years, I can definitely see Disney expanding upon the driverless car idea. Maybe driverless monorails and driverless buses and driverless boats, something along those lines, and then it continuing to expand with robots. Now, we keep hearing those rumors about in Star Wars Land, we're gonna see robots like R2-D2 just rolling around by themselves. Now, that rumor sounds great. I really do hope it comes true, but try and imagine someone like Baymax, trying to walk around the park by himself. I mean, that would be very difficult. There's a lot of wind, there's a lot of traffic everywhere. I mean, that would be very, very difficult, but that's what I foresee in 30 years, the more complicated characters walking around by themselves. I also predict that the Contemporary and Grand Floridian resorts will be completely, I mean completely refreshed. Like inside, outside, everywhere, a complete refresh. Now my last prediction for 30 years from now is kind of wild, but I still like the idea. Now let's say you want a picture right in front of Cinderella Castle and there's no PhotoPass photographer around. My hope, and I'm only saying hope because prediction is just so far-fetched, it's hard to imagine, but imagine that you have a small drone that you can call with your phone, like a Disney drone, to come down and take your picture, like, you know, above people's heads, and then you're like smiling there, the picture, there's no PhotoPass photographer in that one location, and you can get a picture from an aerial vantage point. Wouldn't that be amazing? Again, that's kind of a wild prediction, but it's 30 years away, you never know. Now don't forget, these are only my predictions and hopes. These are not rumors, these are not confirmed. This is just my thoughts and predictions. I thought I'd share them with you. Now you've heard my predictions, some reasonable, some completely wild and out there, but I want to hear from you. What do you predict in Disney's future? 10, 20, 30 years from now? Let me know in the comments below. I cannot wait to see what you come up with. Now I can't wait to see what the future at Walt Disney World brings, but I'm really happy I have the opportunity to share in all the magic with you in the present day. Thank you so much for being a part of the magic with me. Until next time, have a magical day. So here's to the next 30 years on Spaceship Earth. While no one knows for sure what we'll see or do, I do know it will be quite an adventure. An adventure that we'll take and make together. See you in the future.